Spring bass can be finicky. One minute they're slamming a fast moving swim jig, the next they'll only eat a slow falling Texas rig. In this video, I'll show you how I dialed in the bite, adjusted to conditions, and caught fish when others missed out.
This is why you gotta keep rust out of your tackle box. Look at that. See the lure broke off there. You can see the rust on it. So my cup holder for a long time and then threw it in the tackle box and had that rust, and the hook, I mean that fish, I barely set it. Of course I have braid, but I literally broke that hook off. Man, that's just like stupid air right there. I already saw that there. I missed that one on a swim jig. I wasn't sure because I hit that reed and I thought that was a fish, but I guess my poor old eyes couldn't see it. But man, there is no cleanup lure in the spring like this Lil Super Trooper. Yeah, I mean, this is a 1/0 hook and it barely holds it, but it's enough. This is 30-pound fluorocarbon leader with 65-pound braided line, so I can like hammer these fish in heavy cover, still fish a big flipping stick. This is my regular flipping stick, and I'm just using 1/8 ounce weight right here, or 3/16. But this thing is so small when they're around beds. I mean, this is the ultimate cleanup lure. This thing, that was a buck there, but man, if there's one there, they eat this thing. It is incredible, and it's max scent too, so it's so soft. The tails kick really easily, and it's got that stank of max scent, which in the spawn, I think the scent plays way more of a role than the rest of the year. So man, this is my go-to cleanup around the spawn. My 10-pound splash, I thought that was a better fish. It's the old swim jig though. Water's up, overhanging bush. There's a seawall there. You can see it, the water's up and flooded. So man, the swim jig, popping that around that shallow cover. You get bedfish, you get fry garters. You get one feeding up in the shallows. Some be shad spawning soon. Swim jig, that southern style, up shallow. Man, when it's flood, I love to do that. Literally off that jet ski float right there. I was trying to get around the dock to get to the next side, and I mean, he ate that thing right off the end. I had him out of the air before I was like pull my lure out of the water. He ate it. It's a little meaty chunk just flapping away on the back of the old swim jig. That's probably one shad spawning, shade fish, something like that, staging around the dock. And they spawn up on all the little wispy reeds up there and behind a lot of docks, but definitely need to check a few more dock floats. That's what happens, you know, flipping and pitching, you get up close. And it makes it easier and more efficient, but also you have no room to work. You saw that fish, as soon as it went in there, I saw like pressure waves of the water, and I just held it there, and when I lifted up, sure enough, one was on it. I hook him, but I have no room to work it. So staying back definitely works out a lot better. Starting to eat that swim jig pretty good. They had been nipping at it early in the day, just swatting at it, missing. Sometimes you'd flip back, sometimes you couldn't. And some are just small fish, males on beds, but getting late in the day. Corners of seawalls, some of the tips of the docks. I don't know if those are more shad spawn fish, stage-in fish, but they're definitely eating it. And then anytime you get around wispy reeds, pretty good. The old Alabama swim jig, taking the meaty chunk on the back and a half-ounce swim jig and just shaking the heck out of it. Fun to catch from wrong side. I saw that fish break back. Put it back there a couple times and got it. That's a little better one. You'd see how long my shadow is. Getting later in the day, and this is the sunny side of the lake, so the sun's been beating down all day. The water's up in these cattails. Man, it feels like I'm in Florida. It's like anytime the water gets, normally in this lake, it doesn't get in them. It's right at the base. But anytime it gets up in there, man, they want to get up there and spawn. Doing that swim jig for a while, and it's just all bucks today doing that. Late in the day, so I'm hoping now is when the bigger ones bite. And went from swimming the jig where it's kind of looser and a little more feathery where you could swim it through, and they're not back in these holes here, they're right on the edge. So to me, that's a Texas rig. In the spawn, I like to go, this is an 1/8 ounce weight. It's lead, so it looks a little bigger, but it's small, 1/8 ounce weight. And then this is the creature hog, which really it wants to kind of drift and float more, so it almost like a Senko or a fluke, a general, any of that stuff. It's that dying shad, kind of real slow fall. And I just want to gently put it in there, let it drift down there, and then I'll let it sit in place. That's the key. Let it sit there, and basically there's either one moving up to spawn, there's one spawning there, there's one feeding on the edge, but it seems like it looks deep here, but it's only like a foot and a half of water. Gently put it in there, and then all of a sudden one that saw it swim in, they either spook off the bed, come back and get it, or one that's feeding along there kind of makes his way along and gets it. But the fast drop, a lot of times I like the big heavy sinkers, the 3/8, the 1/2 ounce. Like right now, the deal is light, especially when they're spawning. I've learned that so many times in Florida. Sometimes the punch, the 1 ounce weight is the deal. But when they're spawning and getting beat up, that light weight, that 1/8 ounce around the cattails, that's the deal. I think it's starting to eat. I like the sound of that. That's not many bodies along here, but that's 2 decent ones, and they're both on points. Like this just makes a little curve, like a rounded point. It's not like a main lake point that goes halfway out to the lake, but it's just these weed pockets make they're tiny little pockets, and just you see where it was indented there, came out here and going back in. So it's a tiny pocket. Seems to be the deal. They're out in the tip of them. There's all this beautiful stuff up in there, and I can see carp in the back, and there's gar kind of snapping around. You know, they're starting to spawn too, and it draws you off sides. I keep on wanting to go up in there and pitch inside and pick apart holes, and you just got to keep in mind when that water comes up real fast and it's dropping again already. It's like those fish scents. It's just, you know, fool's gold. It's not going to be up there for long. They're not going to spawn up there, so they stay on that outside edge of it instead of going in. It's all that eye candy, so gotta stop throwing up inside. It's getting dark fast, so I need to just work along edge really fast. I can't thread my hook back through my stinking, here we have that, it comes out the hole on the bait. You can't get threaded back through, and the fish are biting, you run out of daylight. Well, that's what's happening. There we go, we got it. Time to make hay while the sun shines, barely. Definitely one of those times where if one of you were along with me, we'd be catching more, work out well. This is perfectly set up for a team tournament. The fish, you know, the fish are cruising on the outside edge, so swimming that jig, that's picking off some active ones, and then some want to just, you know, the pitch and slow fall in there. Usually want the guy in the front casting the head, working it pretty fast, picking off those active ones, and the guy in the back flipping and slow going. If the guy in the front's pitching, you're leaving your line sitting there forever, and the other guy's trying to throw the swim jig ahead, then he's going to be snagging it. So you want the guy flipping in the back, obviously. But man, I feel like we would literally double the catches right now if we had two baits going. One of those is some just want to chase, and some want one stuck in front of their face. And it's just driving me crazy because I want to throw both at the same time. And typical fisherman, no matter how good you catch them, you're always thinking, well, I bet they're biting the other one better. You want to keep on picking up a rod and switching back and forth, and drives you crazy. Keyed up for a big one. Hit it like a caveman, set the hook and let launch him. Thought I had a bite back there before. It's so light in the spring with fish around beds. Pop it. You're not sure, and you kind of think you just felt it coming over a stick or something like that, but sure enough, it's worth casting back in the spring when you feel low. I just caught a buck. Driving the dogs crazy. Caught a little better one there. Female. I ran out of creature hogs, so I went with the old standby, you know, stick worm. And in the spring, went to the June bug general, and that was the last one in the pack. I got to dig another one out, but that was 2 in a row, and the June bug general is getting dark here. If I were, second one right in the same spot.